Welcome to the Gobblers and Gobblettes 2022 RX division. Big, huge thanks to our athletes for signing up to do this competition and supporting our gym. And big, huge thanks to our volunteers and judges for volunteering your time. We truly could not put on these competitions without you. Scaled. Number 1, establish a max clean, hang clean, and jerk in 10 minutes. For the movement standards, the first clean must be from the floor. It may be a power, split, or squat clean. You must remain holding the barbell when transitioning into the hang clean and jerk. You cannot drop the barbell in between any of the movements. The hang clean must start somewhere between the top of the knee and your hips. It also may be a power, split, or squat clean. The jerk may be a shoulder to overhead movement, meaning that it can be a strict press, a push jerk, or a split jerk. We're going to have her show us one variation of the complex right now. So she did a power clean, followed by a hang power clean, followed by a split jerk, as so. Good. Now we're just going to kind of walk through the individual movements. So the first movement is going to be from the floor, and it can be a power clean, a squat clean, or a split clean. Because we're not requiring a squat clean, you do not have to get your hips below parallel. If you choose to do a split clean, you must bring your feet back together before transitioning into that second hang clean. Go ahead and show us those three variations.
Power first.
Power first. So that's one option. She can do a squat clean, but it's not required to get below parallel. And she can do a split clean, bringing those feet back together before moving into that hang clean. Okay. All right. Okay guys, we're gonna have her break down the hang clean now, but one thing we do wanna point out is after that initial first clean, you cannot drop the bar. You've got to hang onto it before going into that hang clean. It's gonna be the same options. So she's gonna go into a hang power clean. A hang squat clean would be an option. Again, not forced to go below parallel, but you can, or a hang split clean if needed. Bringing those feet back together before transitioning into the next rep. Okay, we're going to be demonstrating the shoulder to overhead, which will be directly following the hang clean. So we're going to have Taylor do the hang clean first. She cannot drop the bar. She's got to go right into it. So from here, she could either do a strict press, a push press, a push jerk, or a split jerk. If you split, you got to bring your feet back together before lowering the bar back down. Some key points for the complex. There will be an empty male and female bar in the lane with weights at the front of the lane. If the female prefers the male bar or vice versa, that is up to them. You do not have to use both bars. Only one partner may be working at a time. However, both partners may help load weights throughout the 10 minutes. Your judge may not help load weights. You may switch back and forth between male and female partners throughout the entire 10 minutes. You may leave the barbell not in use loaded. However, the barbell not in use must be pushed to the front of the lane, clearly out of the way of the lifting athlete. In addition to this, any unused weights must remain in the weight staging area at the front of the lane while the athlete is lifting. You must have colors on the bar when attempting a lift. And if any of these rules are not followed, your judge or head judge has the right to no rep a good lift. We want everyone as safe as possible throughout this max lift. Okay guys, for the RX WOD 1, here is a look at what your lane will look similar to for the clean complex, which is going to be a clean from the floor, followed by a hang clean, followed by a shoulder to overhead movement. You're going to have two barbells. You don't have to use two though. You can use just one if you prefer. But you're going to have 4 45-pound plates, a set of 25s, a set of 15s, and 4 10-pound plates, also followed by a pair of 5s, a pair of 2.5s, and 2 sets of clips. This will allow you to hit a max of 360 pounds. At 3, 2, 1, go. Taylor's going to represent our female athlete. Both partners, Megan's going to represent our male athlete in this scenario, can be loading the weights. So she's going to go ahead and load this up. Notice that they grab the clips. The clips do have to be put on. And then Taylor's going to go ahead and start the complex, which is going to be the clean from the floor, a hang clean, and then some sort of shoulder to overhead combination.
Okay. Just for, good job, good job. Just for, we'll say that she continues to lift, they continue to add weights to that, and then she hits her max. At this point, she's gonna allow her partner to take over, which is gonna be Megan, who's representing our male athlete. She's gonna go ahead and transition that bar forward in case she wants to lift it again. However, you do have the option to take off the weights. They're gonna move that male bar out of the way and bring it back in here, and they can begin lifting it. Now, one question that came up is, can the male hit the female bar before transitioning to that male bar just to get some warm-up reps? Absolutely. They can be going back and forth. You do not have to have one person go the whole time and then switch. You can be going back and forth. You can use the bars however you want. The only main thing that we're doing here is that the bar in front of you, if there is a bar loaded still, it has to be in front of the other bar, as Megan's pointing to. It cannot be behind. And if you have any loose weights, they have to stay in front of the barbell that's being lifted as well. You can never have any weights beside you. All right, Megan's gonna go ahead and make her first attempt, which again would be representing the male. Good, good job, good job. And then she'll continue to hit theirs. If at any point Taylor wanted to go back in and try and hit a lift, that would be up to them. The main thing that we ask is that the barbell not in use remains in front, and any weights not in use remain in front as well. So they could lift it over, they could, however they want to do it, that's totally up to them. Thanks, guys.
RX workout number 2 with a time cap of 20 minutes. With one person working at a time, breaking up the reps however they choose. You will start with a cash-in of 30 pull-ups, followed by a 60-calorie row. Then, the athletes will complete 3 rounds of 14 snatches, followed by 18 overhead squats and 60 double unders. Then, after the 3 rounds are complete, you'll move into a cash-out of another 60-calorie row, followed by 15 bar muscle-ups. The movement standards for rowing. The monitor on the rower must be set to 0 calories at the beginning of each 60-calorie row. Your partner may be waiting at the barbell to begin the snatch once the first row is complete. Key points for the pull-ups and bar muscle-ups. Wrapping tape around the pull-up bar or wearing hand protection is permitted, and you may do them at the same time, which is different than the traditional open standard. If choosing to tape the bar, you have to provide your own tape, and if you happen to rip and bleed on the bar, you must remove the tape before the next heat starts. You will have designated lanes that are near the pull-up rig. It will be first come, first serve to use any pull-up bar near your lane. For the bar muscle-ups, there will be more specific bars, but a few lanes will have a couple of options. For shorter athletes, your partner may lift you to the bar, or you may use a J-hook to get yourself up there. We will not allow boxes for safety purposes. Movement standard on the pull-up. The athlete must start each rep with arms fully extended and feet off the ground. Any style of pull-up is permitted, or grip as well. The rep is credited when the athlete's chin breaks the horizontal plane of the bar.
Okay, Taylor's going to demonstrate a pull-up here. For this, it can be any style. She can do strict, she can do kipping, she can do butterfly. We're just looking for full extension of the arms at the bottom, and then chin clearly over the bar at the top, no matter which style you choose. Thank you.
Movement standard for bar muscle up. The athlete must begin or pass through with a hang below the bar with arms fully extended and feet off the floor. Kipping the muscle up is acceptable, but you cannot do pullovers, rolls to parts, or glide clips, meaning that your feet may not go above the bar. The athlete must pass through some portion of a dip before locking out over the bar. The rep is credited when the athlete's arms are fully locked out in the support position above the bar and the athlete's shoulder are over or slightly in front of the bar. Only the hands and no other part of the arm may touch the bar during the rep. Removing the hands in the support position is not allowed. At lockout, only the arms may support the athlete's weight. Okay, Joey's demonstrating some good reps. He started with his arms extended, his feet off the floor, using a regular kip and then locking out at the top. Here's some bad reps. For this, he's going to take his feet clearly over the top of the bar, which is going to be considered a no rep. The movement standards for the snatch. The barbell begins on the ground and must be lifted overhead in one motion. A power, squat, or split snatch are all permitted, but in each instance, the athlete's feet must be brought back together in line. This is not a ground to overhead in any way, so a clean and jerk is a no rep. The rep is credited when the barbell is at full lockout overhead with the hips, knees, and arms fully extended and the bar directly over or slightly behind the middle of the body with the feet in line. Key points for the snatch. The athlete who is completing the 14th rep may choose to hang onto the barbell and go directly into the overhead squats. Note, if the athlete squat snatched the 14th rep, this does not count as the first overhead squat. It only counts as the 14th snatch. However, if they squat snatch any overhead squat reps following the 14th snatch, those will count as overhead squats as long as all overhead squat standards are met. Okay, we're going to demonstrate a power snatch, a squat snatch, however, hips do not need to go below parallel, or a split snatch, bringing the feet back together in line once the rep is complete before lowering the barbell back down. Movement standards for the overhead squats. The hip crease must go below the top part of the knee at the bottom. A full squat snatch is permitted but not required to start the movement if standard depth is achieved. The barbell must come to full lockout overhead with the hips, knees, and arms fully extended and the bar directly over the middle of the body or slightly behind. If the 14th snatch is a squat snatch, this does not count as the first overhead squat. However, the athlete may keep the barbell overhead after the 14th snatch and transition into their first overhead squat. Okay, here on the overhead squat, you're going to see the hip crease go clearly below the top part of the knee with the knees and hips extended and arms arched out at the top. You can squat snatch it into that first rep as long as you hit the proper depth on that first one. We're going to see some no reps here where the hips are not locked out at the top. Here's a few more no reps. For this one, we're not going to go below parallel. And on this last one, arms are going to be bent, which is going to be considered a no rep because the arms have to stay locked out in order to be a completed rep. The movement standard for the double unders. This is a standard double under in which the rope passes under the feet twice for each jump. The rope must spin forward for the rep to count. Only successful jumps are counted, not attempts. For key points, the athlete must bring their own jump rope. If transitioning between athletes during the double unders, the waiting athlete may have their jump rope in hand. Upon completion of the 60th rep, the other athlete may be waiting at the barbell to begin the next round. And upon completion of the third round, the waiting athlete may already be sitting on the rower waiting to begin. When judging double unders, we're going to recommend that you look just at the feet when counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. RX WOD number 3, time cap of 15 minutes. Partner number 1 will complete the first round, and partner number 2 will complete round number 2. They will alternate back and forth between rounds until the WOD is complete or until the time cap is reached. The workout is 8 rounds of 8 deadlifts, 8 burpee box jump overs, and 8 handstand push-ups. Movement standard for deadlifts. The barbell starts on the ground. The athlete's hands must be outside the knees. Sumo deadlifts are not permitted. The rep is credited when the athlete's hips and knees reach full extension and the athlete's head and shoulders are behind the bar. Bending the arms to deliberately bounce the deadlift off the floor is not permitted. Okay, she's going to take the barbell off the floor. Knees and hips are extended and her shoulders are back behind the bar. She's going to show us a few bad ones where she's bending her arms to deliberately bounce the barbell. You can move fast so that it kind of bounces on its own, but you can't deliberately bounce it. Movement standard for the burpee box jump over. The burpee box jump over starts with the athlete facing the box while touching their chest and thighs to the ground and finishes with the athlete jumping over the box. The athlete may step or jump in and out of the push-up position. Each rep is counted when the athlete lands on the ground on the opposite side of the box. From there, they may begin their next rep. A 2-foot takeoff is always required, so you must jump, and only the athlete's feet may touch the box. After landing on the box, the athlete may jump or step off to the other side. Alternatively, the athlete may jump completely over the box, but if you do this, your feet have to pass over the box, not around it, and you must use a 2-foot landing. There is no requirement to stand tall while on top of the box. Key point is after the 8th rep is completed, the waiting partner may flip the box to the appropriate height so that it is ready for their upcoming round. Okay, the athlete is perpendicular to the box, burpees down, touching the chest to the floor, jumping with a 2-foot takeoff, no hip extension required, turn around, face the box again, and repeat. You can step down, you can step up, but you must do a 2-foot takeoff to jump over the box. No hip extension required at any point. That's going to be a no rep where your hips, chest did not touch. That was a step over, so that's going to be a no rep. Again, another row rep on the burpee. This time they jumped over but did a straddle versus taking their feet completely over top of the box. Movement standard for the handstand push-up. You have to begin with the arms locked out and heels in contact with the wall, so you're in a handstand position. The rep is credited upon the return to that starting position. At the bottom, the head has to make clear contact with the ground. The feet do not need to remain in contact with the wall for the duration of the movement, but the heels must touch the wall before descending into the next rep. Kipping and strict are both allowed. Key points: we will be using a handstand push-up mat, so no plates or ab mats. And then upon completion of the 8th rep, the waiting athlete may be waiting at the barbell. However, please note the judge will need to travel back to the lane to count the reps, so be sure your judge is watching and counting before starting your first deadlift rep. He's going to kick into a handstand with his heels on the floor. He's going to touch his head to the floor, clear lockout with the heels back on the wall at the top. Those are kipping style. He's going to show us a strict, same standard, but this time he's using just a strict style to finish the rep. If we are running on time, you will start at 10:15, heat 1. You may go ahead and head directly to your lanes and begin warming up, but generally speaking, the warm-up area will be in the back of the gym where the platforms are. If you choose to warm up any movements in the fit camp room, that's totally fine. However, we do not allow chalk under any circumstance in that room. For your live scoring today, as well as your heat schedule, go to scoring.newcuffcrossfit.com and choose the Gobblers and Gobblettes competition. For any math or entry errors for scoring, please visit our front desk. If you have any judging issues, we will try and resolve the issue on spot with either our head judge or the owner, Emily. Best of luck today, guys. Stay safe and crush it.